Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another review of The Flash and Arrow. It's crossover time. And yes, it's the episode
Legends
of today. But before we get into the crossover, we'll talk about the completely unrelated side plot first, because this is still a Flash episode, so let's just get that out of the way. We do have a side plot with Wells because, Wells wants to figure out how we're going to beat Zoom. So his next theory is, let's make a drug that makes speed. So he and Caitlin work on it. Then Patty shoots him. Then Jay shows up for the first time in like 5 episodes and says, hey, don't use this drug even after I saved your life.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
We learn about the drug. That's basically all this is. It's our introduction to the drug. We get some weird stuff with Patty. That's about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, not too much to run into with this stuff.
Off screen, probably, somebody's gonna have to explain to Patty who he is.
Well, yeah, because this is the second time it's happened, because as she mentioned, she was involved when he stole something from Mercury Labs.
Yeah, that was just... She didn't see him that time.
No, but that was how... Yeah.
McGee said it was Harrison Wells, and she had her suspicions that Wells was alive.
But let's ignore that. It's a fine little side plot. It's just setting up some stuff. Nothing bad happened.
Whatever.
That's not what we're excited about, obviously. It's crossover time. Gotta love crossovers.
Yeah.
So many good interactions, so many good moments.
We finally get some Cisco and Felicity working together.
You're right. I mean, we got a little bit of that, like in the B episode and other episodes in Flash Season 1.
No, the B episode was more Cisco and Ray.
Yeah, I mean, she's worked together before, like with the episode with Snart. But anyway, we get our villain, and what a villain are we getting?
Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage.
Immortal
throws knives, has a connection to Kendra, the whole works.
Yeah, I know, he had this jacket full of weapons, but if he had that many weapons, why did he even allow them to take his jacket off him?
Simple. He just wanted to get to Central City. Why bother? Why pilot a boat yourself when you can just let them take you there, then kill them? He just let them capture him. It's like, fine, do what you want. When we get to Central City, then I'll kill everyone.
Yeah, true.
It's easier that way. But yeah, what a villain. Trust me, we will be seeing more of him. I mean, this is only the first half of a crossover, but
yeah, no, that's why it's so hard to judge this episode. There isn't much of a conclusion.
But that's not going to stop us doing it. But, so, okay.
Vandal Savage has something to do with something called Horus.
Yeah.
Which has been mentioned before, and it's stupid that Oliver didn't bring it up and say, hey, I've heard of that.
We mentioned this twice now, that the word Horus has come up. I mean, it is a real, well, not a real god, but, it's a mythological god, right?
Yeah.
But... first it came up in Constantine, then it came up when Constantine stole the orb of Horus in Lian Yu. Now we've got the staff of Horus. We don't know if the orb of Horus has any connection to Kendra and Carter and all that. It's never mentioned. Remember, Oliver was there. He didn't mention, hey, I wonder if it's got anything to do with the orb that Constantine took.
I know, he should have said, hey, I've heard of this.
That would have been really cool, but I guess the writers forgot to communicate. I guess maybe they did that. It's like, here's a cool shout out to the Constantine stuff. But then the writers decided, Horus is going to be relevant to this plot, and they forgot, shit, we've already used Horus before.
Yeah.
Because obviously, a lot of what happens in this crossover is build up to the same thing we've been building up for a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
As the title implies.
Because as we later learn, objects that were present at that time are useful. I won't spoil too much.
We'll get into it in the second half.
But it'd be so great if Oliver could just say, hey, Constantine, buddy, can I borrow that orb? I think my friends need it.
How would they... We'll get into that in the next part. We'll get into it in the next part. Because we'll learn more about those objects. But obviously we learn about Kendra, Cisco dates her and all that stuff, which leads to one of Cisco's dumbest moments.
Oh, yeah. When he says, thank God, Barry.
Nice going, but I guess we can't really waste any time.
Yeah.
Oh, well... it's still fun. We get a lot of good Cisco moments, like Cisco interacting with Oliver and Thea and all that stuff. And hey, Cisco brought up the little plot hole we brought up about changing her name. Speedy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, he didn't really bring it up and say, yeah, but people would hear you.
Speaking
They
of-
called that.
Speaking of villains, Damien Dark got to make a quick cameo before he was interrupted by Barry, which
Yeah.
raises a question: what the hell would they have done if Barry wasn't there?
They would have all died.
No, I mean only. Okay, he had Oliver. I guess
Yeah.
Thea or Diggle could have shot him and distracted him.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but get used to it, Damien. It's not the last you'll be seeing a speedster. But obviously, we can't have Kendra without Carter. They're the Hawks.
We hate him.
He's not. Look, a lot of people hate the Hawk. I don't mind Kendra,
Yeah.
but Carter, we'll get into him a lot more. He's fine now, but he comes off as so arrogant and annoying in later stuff.
Yeah, he's like, alright, you have to love me.
So, okay, there's an interesting little bit when they finally capture him, though. Notice they have him chained up. I'll tell you why.
Because the cage is being
Used by
for
Andy. I'd like to point out during this whole crossover, Andy's just off in the background in the cage.
Yeah.
Nobody mentions it, nobody brings it up, but I always find that funny if you just remember he's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why he was caged up, why he was chained up, even though they have a cage. Not many people remember to think about that. But, okay, being a crossover, obviously we get a lot of good music because we get the build. Because one thing I love in crossovers is the blending, because we get blending of like the Arrow and Flash theme, but also we get the Hawk theme, which also has a bit of a prelude to the main theme of a certain show.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're so close, we're so excited for the best show ever. But, so, okay, Carter and Kendra say they've been killed 206 times, and they've been doing this for 4,000 years. I believe somebody said this means they have died an average of every 20 years.
Okay.
That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh well, I mean, also, we got great fight scenes. We got great fight scenes of teaming up against Savage. Also a good fight scene teaming up against Carter.
Yeah.
Oh man, team up fight scenes, they're the best. They are the best.
Yeah.
But, so interestingly, they mention Laurel is visiting her mother. Originally, her mother was intended to be in the next part of the episode.
That's why they said that.
But she couldn't. Alex Kingston was too busy off in the UK filming a Christmas special.
Yeah.
This episode, first off, it's only a first half, so obviously there's not really a cliffhanger, but there is one little thing. Oliver should just avoid jitters, because this is the second time it's happened.
Yeah, he bumped into a kid who, then he recognized the mother, and we recognized the mother, because even if you're bad at recognizing people, she was in the previously.
She was in the previously, and she was in the last time we had a crossover, and Oliver's at jitters. But yeah, the previously spoils it. But to be fair, it's been a long time since Arrow's had it, and also this is technically the Flash episode.
Yeah. So yes, this is the same girl.
It's the Flash episode, but we spent most of the time in Star City. And now we're off to Central City for the Arrow episode.
Yeah. But yeah, in case you don't remember, back in, I don't know, what season was it? That we had the
the flashback
to...
That was like in season 2. It was the last episode with Moira.
Yes. In that last episode with Moira, we had a flashback where Oliver's girlfriend was pregnant, and Moira bribed her to say she lost the baby and move away. And
then we got reminded she existed in Flash vs. Arrow, where she showed up at Jitters, and here she is again. Believe me, that plot will continue. And, oh boy, remember how some people say Arrow Season 4 sucks? I'm starting to remember the downfall, and Felicity is about to ruin it starting next episode.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
She doesn't handle that so
Let's
well.
worry about that next time. It's Arrow's episode, so Arrow can fuck its own scenes it up. But, oh boy, what a big episode, and it's only halfway. Like I said, when you watch Flash vs. Arrow, it's a good episode, and you think, oh, this is a nice, fun little crossover. That's nothing. And this is nothing compared to later crossovers, but this is what you're going to expect. Multi-part stories with big team-ups and big music, and everything's so good.
Yeah. The only thing with it being multi-part, it's like I said, it's so hard to judge the first part.
We've done it before. I mean, there's been episodes which are essentially two-parters, like the Firestorm two-parter and other episodes,
Yeah.
where, plus sometimes that's happened in other shows we've reviewed.
Yeah.
So, you just have to base it on what we see in this episode, the build-up, and you've, like I say, judge it for what it is. It's a first half, so you judge it on its build-up. You can't judge it for its conclusion, because you know it's not meant to have one.
Yeah, and it works. It does its thing, and
I'm
I'll
gonna
go
give it-
7.5.
Really? I was going to give it a 9.5.
Damn.
It's a crossover. What do you expect? It's a crossover, and I'm excited for a certain show. Like I said, expect high ratings very, very soon for a certain show.
Yeah. I guess I didn't love it as much as you did, but
I love, look, you know me,
good.
I love crossovers, I love team-ups, I love the music. I have not given a compliment to the music as much in these shows as I should. The Hawk soundtrack is so good. The team-up fight soundtrack is so good. There's other soundtracks we've heard in previous episodes that are so good. Oh, man. But, hey, don't expect a high rating for the next half, but expect a lot of high ratings for crossovers and episodes related to, and a show related to this episode.
Yeah.
So, what's your rating?
7.5.
Still sticking with 7.5?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you gave an 8 to, like, the versus Zoom episode and to the Grodd episode.
Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, well. I
Alright,
always go for my first instinct.
if you say so. So, next episode is called Legends of Yesterday. Well, that's an Arrow episode. The next Flash episode is called Running to Stand Still, but nobody cares. We're off to the crossover.
Yeah.
No, even if you don't watch Arrow, this is the one thing you've got to keep in mind. It wasn't so much relevant last season, but from this point on, crossovers do this thing where even if you don't watch the shows, you have to watch all crossover episodes. Even if you have never watched Arrow, you need to watch the next Arrow episode to understand anything. And this is the same pattern to expect for every crossover going forward.
Really? What if you just skipped both Legends episodes?
Well, okay, to be fair, in terms of the Flash... Okay, if you were to theoretically skip next episode as a Flash viewer, the only thing you'd miss is, for some reason, Cisco would never have seen Kendra ever again.
Oh, true.
That's the only thing. But you can't skip both because this is the introduction of Velocity 6.
True.
Where, yeah, and I suppose you could theoretically skip this as an Arrow viewer and just watch the next episode for certain Arrow plot stuff. But like I said, if you really care about these shows, even if you don't watch all the shows, you gotta watch both parts.
Yeah.
And it gets way more hectic with the later crossovers.
That's why they put both on the DVD. Like, at one point, I didn't bother with Arrow, I just watched Flash.
And luckily
I still
enough, they're still here.
Yeah, I still watched both parts, because they were both on the DVD.
And as we said, for future crossovers, if you're not American, you get your own DVD just for the crossover.
Yeah.
But anyway...
Wait, why is it America that misses out when the stuff is made in America?
I don't know, it's so stupid, but laughing at Americans is too fun not to enjoy. But enough about that. It's a crossover, I can't stop saying it, so let's just move on. Is that it?
Yeah.
We will see you next time for the second half of this crossover and other things as well. See you next time, guys. See you next time.